Hello, dear readers. Welcome to my channel. In October 2023, the European Commission announced an anti-subsidy investigation targeting 3 Chinese automakers, BYD, SAIC Motor, and Geely. This decision has sparked widespread attention, signifying a significant shift in Europe's trade policy concerning Chinese electric vehicles. The investigation has multiple underlying reasons. Firstly, China's automobile export volume has surged globally, particularly in the electric vehicle sector, posing competitive pressures on the European market. Secondly, the market share of Chinese automakers' electric vehicles in Europe has been steadily rising, causing concerns among local European car manufacturers. This anti-subsidy investigation is seen as Europe's attempt to safeguard its domestic automotive industry. Both the Chinese government and the involved companies strongly oppose this move, arguing that Europe lacks sufficient evidence and that the investigation into Chinese automobiles is based on subjective judgments. Nevertheless, the final outcome of this dispute remains uncertain, and the competition between China and Europe in the electric vehicle sector is becoming clearer through this investigation. The latest news reveals that EU investigators have arrived in China, planning on-site inspections of the 3 mentioned companies between January and February this year, once again bringing the anti-subsidy case into the spotlight. 3 EU officials are now in China with the task of conducting on-site inspections of materials submitted by SAIC Motor, Geely, and BYD to verify their authenticity. According to Reuters, this verification process will unfold in the coming weeks to ensure the obtained information is credible. The European Commission's publicly available documents indicate that the current anti-subsidy investigation is in the initiation phase, with the verification visits set to conclude by April 11, 2024. In response to the EU's anti-subsidy investigation, Chinese companies such as BYD, Geely, and SAIC quickly submitted detailed written materials, emphasizing their lawful and compliant international trade operations. They explicitly expressed their opposition to the EU's unilateral investigation. These companies underscored their efforts in independent research, innovation, and highlighted their technological strength and market position in the electric vehicle sector. Simultaneously, official Chinese entities like the Ministry of Commerce and the Automotive Industry Association promptly questioned the EU's approach, stating that it lacks sufficient evidence and emphasizing China's firm stance on maintaining trade relations. This collective response indicates China's determined resolve to protect the rights and interests of domestic enterprises and uphold international trade rules. However, within Europe, some local executives from native car companies oppose this investigation. Lutz Mesk, the CFO of Porsche, openly criticized the EU's anti-subsidy investigation, deeming it meaningless for countries like Germany, especially for those heavily reliant on exports to China. He believes this EU move might have adverse effects on these enterprises, further intensifying trade tensions. Additionally, some local car executives have raised questions about the legitimacy and adequacy of evidence in the EU's anti-subsidy investigation, suggesting it might be based on subjective judgments rather than concrete evidence. These opposing voices highlight the internal disagreements and controversies within Europe regarding the EU's trade relief measures against Chinese automakers. This debate not only concerns the development of trade relations but also involves the adjustment of the global automotive industry landscape, injecting more uncertainty into current China-EU trade relations. Simultaneously, government officials in some European countries have expressed cautious attitudes toward the EU investigation. They fear that this action might trigger trade friction between China and Europe, harming the economic interests of both parties. Representatives from countries heavily reliant on car exports, like Germany, have raised various concerns about the EU's anti-subsidy investigation, worrying it may escalate tensions in China-EU relations and adversely affect the domestic automotive industry. These concerns also reflect internal disagreements within Europe regarding trade policies. In an era where global supply chains are highly interdependent, economic ties between China and Europe are tightening, and any unilateral trade action may impact the stable operation of the entire industry chain. Therefore, when responding to the EU's anti-subsidy investigation, European governments not only consider the interests of their domestic car companies but also contemplate the impact of this decision on the overall economic landscape and international relations. The anti-subsidy investigation involving China's automotive industry reveals the complex game between rising and traditional powers in the global economy. The rapid development of China's automotive industry, especially in electric vehicles, has raised concerns and tensions among traditional automotive manufacturing powers like the EU. As China becomes the world's largest car exporter, its leading position in the electric vehicle sector has pressured traditional car manufacturers. This anti-subsidy investigation is not just about the surface issue of a trade dispute. It involves deep-seated challenges in the confrontation between new and old economic forces. China's technological rise and increased innovation capabilities have positioned it significantly in the global industrial chain. However, this has also triggered concerns among traditional powers, fearing that China's rise may threaten their economic positions and technological advantages. Countries must approach trade disputes cautiously, avoiding unilateralism and trade protectionism that could impact the stability of the global trade system. Balancing interests and seeking fair solutions will be the core issues to address in future international trade disputes. Regarding the competitiveness of Chinese cars in the international market, data from the China Association of Automobile Manufacturers shows that the export volume of cars reached 4.91 million units in 2021, a year-on-year increase of 57.9%, surpassing Japan to become the world's largest car exporter. The market share of Chinese cars in the electric vehicle sector in EU countries has risen to 8%, with expectations to reach 15% by 2025. A research report from a Swiss bank predicts that cars manufactured in China will account for 33% of the global market by 2030. The European Commission's anti-subsidy investigation has entered a new stage, and the arrival of investigators signals a crucial moment in this dispute. Chinese companies strongly oppose the EU's unilateral decision, urging the EU to use trade relief measures cautiously and encouraging more cooperation to create a fair market environment. As the investigation deepens, the international community will continue to monitor the development of this dispute, and China's automotive industry will strive to maintain competitiveness in the global market. Behind this event lies the reflection of a tense international trade atmosphere, the rapid growth of China's automotive export scale, and the EU's concerns about China's competitive position in the electric vehicle field. The struggle between the two sides in this anti-subsidy war will have far-reaching effects on the global automotive industry landscape. This anti-subsidy investigation highlights the delicate balance between competition and cooperation in the electric vehicle sector between Europe and China. As China's automotive companies continue to gain global influence, European car companies must adapt to the rapidly changing electric vehicle market while facing intense competition. This investigation is also a part of international trade, reflecting the complexity of the global automotive industry. How both sides coordinate for mutual benefit will be a key issue in the intersection of international trade and technological innovation in the future. Finally, let me summarize for you, hoping you have gained some insights and thoughts. Dear friends, through today's discussion, we have gained a deeper understanding of the anti-subsidy war in global trade. This dispute, concerning the future of China's automotive industry, is not just a trade friction but also a microcosm of the struggle between new and old economic powers globally. So, what insights does this anti-subsidy war bring us? Firstly, we see that the rise of China's automotive industry has become a focus of global attention. The rapid rise of electric vehicles in the global market has not only made China the world's largest car exporter but has also propelled Chinese car companies to rapid improvement in technology and innovation. This gives us an important insight: innovation is the key to industrial rise. Whether at the national or corporate level, only through independent research and continuous innovation can one stand undefeated in global competition. Secondly, the confrontation between new and old forces in the global economy requires balance and cooperation. The EU's anti-subsidy investigation into Chinese cars reflects the anxieties of traditional car manufacturing powers in Europe and highlights the tense global trade atmosphere. At this moment, we need more negotiation and cooperation to avoid the impact of trade protectionism on the global economic system. The insight is, in the tide of economic globalization, win-win cooperation is the key to promoting global economic prosperity. Finally, as consumers and observers, we need to stay informed and think. This anti-subsidy war is not just a contest between governments and businesses but also concerns each and every one of us. Which brand of car do you drive? Will it be affected by this dispute? Will the clouds of a trade war overshadow our enjoyment of the convenience brought about by technological progress? Let's leave it as a suspense and think carefully about the changes that this anti-subsidy war may bring. Perhaps in our next meeting, we can unravel more economic mysteries together. How will you choose? In conclusion, this anti-subsidy war is not only an industrial dispute but also an opportunity for reflection. Let's collectively pay attention to the pulse of the global economy and contribute to building an open, cooperative, and stable world economy. Until next time, we will explore more exciting topics in the next video. Goodbye for now.